So here's something I haven't seen before. This is a BOXTECH Aquarium filter, and it's a different take on your standard air-driven foam filter. Traditionally, air-driven filters tends to be one or two bits of cylindrical foam with maybe some biomedia at the bottom or the top, in which an air pump drives air through and you get filtration driven by an air pump. However, this is a design which I haven't seen before. Let me know if you've seen this kind of thing before, but I certainly haven't, and I found this on Amazon. It's by a company called BOXTECH. You can see here it's made in China, but it's distributed in the UK by ProLinks Global. So when I saw this, I knew that I had to buy it and check it out. Packaging wise, I think it's done in a really nice way. It doesn't give away much on the box. You can see it's got a very brief description of the contents, a drawing to let you know what all the bits are, and also some basic instructions. The reason I went for this is because it's unlike anything I've seen before, and it just looks quite smart and innovative. So let's have a look inside the box. I haven't actually opened this yet. I've been waiting for the video like normal. I tend to wait and open it together with you. Firstly, we have some black foam, and then underneath we have our filter. Now, first impressions, it looks really quite smart, doesn't it? Black foam packaging, all nicely cut to fit the individual pieces. The filter itself, nice clear plastic, comes with our filter media as well, and we've got a raised and shiny brand there. So first impressions, I think this looks a really smart and professional piece of kit. So we'll take the foam out, we'll take a look at the product itself. So as I said, this is like the more traditional foam-based air-driven filters. So you will need an air pump to run this. On the Amazon page, it says that it can run up to 50 gallons as your main filter. I would say that's quite a generous amount of water. I'd probably run it on a smaller shrimp tank or something like that. So these kind of filters tend to be for aquariums where you don't want a lot of flow in them. So things like shrimp tanks, or if you want better fish that don't like a lot of flow, you'd go for an air-driven pump like this. The reason being is they tend to be less aggressive in terms of water movement, but you do get good surface area as well for filtration. That's the main filtration box. We also get 4 suction pads, and these are big old suction pads. They don't tend to be this big when you get a filter, so I'm sure that they will hold it in place within your aquarium. We have clear outlet pipe, which is nice to see. In fact, there's 2 of them, so I guess if you wanted it a long outlet, you could attach those together. It certainly, yeah, does. So you can extend your outlet for a taller sort of tank, or just have it short with one stem. And then we have the duckbill, which is a huge duckbill, isn't it? That's one of the biggest duckbills I've ever seen, and that is movable as well. So let's have a look at the filter. So the idea is then you attach your airline from your air pump onto here, and the air bubbles will go through this little fan, and what will happen is it has this really unique moving bed filter in it. I've never seen an air pump, or even I've never seen an internal filter with a moving bed filter inside of it. This is really, really clever stuff. And then on the outside we've got some sponges. This can be mechanical or biological filtration. It also says in these outside areas, in these 2 here, you can put other media. So potentially you could put more biological in here, you could put some finer floss in here, or you could put some chemical filtration. It also has these areas in the corner, which you'll note haven't got any holes in. And what this does is it's a sediment trap. So over time, all the debris that gets sucked through, the heavier stuff, the bigger particles will just sit in here, and then that will allow you to remove it from the aquarium when you do your filtration cleaning. On the top, we've got flow adjusters, and that will allow you to, I guess, adjust the flow from either side. I've never seen a dual flow adjuster, so I guess you can favour one side or the other should you wish to. That's our outlet for where our bubbles go through, and if we can take the lid off, which is nice and easy to do, we'll see on the inside there's another little bit of plastic just to hold your media in place. Now it does come with, I would say, a decent amount of this moving bed media. You might want to put some more in there, but we'll see how this fares to begin with. It's quite a cheap media. There is other brands of media like K1, but we can see that this media is ridged on the outside and the inside, so I think you'd get some good bacterial surface area here. You get quite a lot of bacteria growing on this media, and that simply pours into this area. And the idea is when the air's blowing through, it will disrupt all of the media and it will move around inside this chamber, and that will be your main biological filtration. Sponge wise, it's pretty typical, a little rectangle of black sponge, quite coarse. I'd say it's medium, it's not too fine, not too coarse. It will trap most of your normal debris. Let's take a look at this little fan then. You have to take the air inlet pipe out, which is just a little 90-degree bend, and then after that it simply spins out really easily. And this is apparently where it gets its name of pneumatic air pump or pneumatic device, because of this spinning fan. I don't know if that's a correct term, but it looks really cool. Have you seen another internal air driven filter with a little fan in it? I think it's just cool because of that feature. The idea, I guess, is the bubbles come up, they spin the fan and they get maybe disrupted, so they're not such big bubbles, churned up, come through the little slits here, become finer bubbles, and then that allows the K1 to have its movement, creating that nice flow for the moving bed. Really awesome. I doubt it's going to break because it's not under a lot of pressure. It should just be really easy to clean every now and then, and I think that is really cool. To put it back in, you simply make sure it's in the right orientation with the hole at the back, and then it just slots straight back in, and then we put that in there and we're ready to go. So upon putting the tubes together, it turns out you have to use both of these tubes because the duck's bill fits into this top one and the other tube is a bit larger and fits into this hole here. Now obviously that gives you a bit of a conundrum because it's quite tall, but I guess you would tailor this to the size of your aquarium. You can quite easily cut these tubes down. I'm going to leave them full height for now so we can just see how it works. So that's kind of the idea there. We've got our suckers attached on the back. They're really big, as I mentioned before, and we have our airline going through it. The next thing we're going to do is run some air through it and see how it works. For this I'm using a portable Night Crew air pump. This model is the Max 6. I got this on Amazon as well. I'll put a link in the description for this air pump and also the review I've done on it already. So here's the filter in place, just in my marine sump, and as I said, this stem is really long, so which is good because it gives you the option to cut it down, but I would definitely need to cut this down before I put it into any of my smaller aquariums. Okay, so let's turn it on for the first time and we will see what happens. Air's going through now. Ooh, look at that then. Yes, so the little fan spins and the moving bed moves. That's really cool, isn't it? I really like that. So what do you think about this? I think this is an excellent design for an air filter. You can see obviously the little bubbles going up the top, and we've got our water flow coming out the duck's bill. Now of course this is a gentle water flow. It will be more powerful, I guess, if you put a bigger air pump on there, but I don't know the volume of air that this can go through it, how much it can handle before it just sort of maxes out, but I think that's impressive. Now the benefit of having this moving bed is it's one of the most efficient ways of getting a biological action in your aquarium. Having the air go over the moving media means that all the bacteria living on the media gets its oxygen, and sometimes in the middle of these as well you get anaerobic bacteria which can sometimes remove nitrate, just because of the way that the media is designed. It doesn't allow, some of the media anyway, doesn't allow much water movement between the actual beads. I'm not sure if this media will do that, but I know that K1 media has that action, so you could always replace it with a K1 if you wanted that as well. But that looks super cool. Now you can imagine as well, if we had some other medias on the outside edges, we'd have a load of biological media in this small little air driven filter. That is truly excellent. I'm very impressed by this. Now one thing I will note though is the air isn't going through those little slits as much as I imagined. I don't know whether that's because it's newly turned on and perhaps it needs to bed in before that effect happens. You can see most of the air is going around the corner. I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll keep this running for a bit and we'll see how it goes. But there's a little bit of bubbles going through it, so it might just be that either I've not got the right amount of air flow going through there, or it's just simply new. There's some air trapped between the little slits and it needs to bed in. So then, I think after that little test and walkthrough, that worked really well. I'm very impressed by this little air filter. One thing is it's actually quite small. Once you cut that pipe down, it's not going to take up masses of room in your aquarium, and also it's really well built. I've reviewed quite a lot of filters now on my channel, and you get a feel for when something's been designed well and built well, and this feels like it's been designed and built really well and really high quality. So very, very impressive from BOXTECH. I would actually use this product myself. I haven't got any tanks to put it in at the moment, but if I had a small shrimp or better tank, I would definitely put this in there because it's just awesome. In terms of costing, it's reasonably expensive. I think it was £27 or so on Amazon, and then bear in mind you'd need an air pump as well, which could equal the same amount, so you might be looking at around £50 to get this up and running. But it's pretty cool. I think it would work better than the more traditional sponge filters because they don't have this moving bed, and they don't really have the option to modify them either. You can't massively change the medias that's in there, but this one you can kind of tailor to your own needs should you wish to. So overall, yeah, this is a definite thumbs up from me. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for all of my channel members and patrons. There's a list going up now of you guys. Really, really appreciate it. If you want to sponsor my channel as well, then I'll put some links in the description for either YouTube memberships or for Patreon. It really does help. It helps me to buy things like this so that I can review them. Once again, thanks for watching and happy fish keeping.